Hello guys, welcome back to Java session. Today we are going to cover user-defined exceptions, or we are also called these user-defined exceptions as custom exceptions. Sir, what is this user-defined exception? How to handle it? So what keyword we use to handle this user-defined exception? That is a part we are going to cover today. As of now, we covered these built-in exceptions. We have seen different types of built-in exceptions, checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions, along with the different examples we covered as of now. Today, we are going to cover these user-defined exceptions. They are also called as the custom exceptions. These custom exceptions or user-defined exceptions, we are going to raise based on the requirement of the application. Let's say I'm developing some application there. In certain conditions, I want to raise the exception. So there you will raise the exception and you will handle the exception. Sir, can you give a scenario where we use these custom exceptions? But for example, you are building some banking application, right? There, let's say, sir, I'm developing some application to SBI, right? In SBI, what they are doing, they are making a condition that if you are in your account balance is less than or equal to 3,000, they are not allowing you to do the transaction. That in the sense, in metropolitan city, if you have an SBI account, the mandatory thing is you should maintain the minimum balance of 3,000. If the balance is below the 3,000, they are not allowing you to do the transactions. That in the sense, based on this condition, what they are doing, they are raising the exception. That in the sense, if the customer account balance is less than 3,000, they are holding and they are not allowing us to do the transaction. They are raising the exception where the customer account balance is less than 3,000. And in turn, they are giving the alternate message like if your account balance is less than or equal to 3,000, so please maintain the minimum balance to avoid the charges. That in the sense, they are not allowing the user to do the transactions, and in turn, what they are doing, they are sending alternate message to the user, right? These are all the use cases where we can use this custom exceptions or user-defined exceptions. Sir, what are the steps how to create the user-defined exception and how to handle it? Means, beta, take your own class. The class must extend the exception class. Exception is the class that is a super class for all exceptions. There you can handle, let's say if you have any predefined exceptions, you can throw by using the throws keyword so that you can declare there the exception class will handle. Let's say if you have user defined exception, you should create object to your own class, and that object you should throw from the try class to catch block, try block to catch block. In catch block, you need to handle it. So these are the three steps which you need to follow while dealing with the exceptions. Sir, can you show us an example? Of course, beta. Here, this is an example program for handling the user-defined exception. Now, what I'm doing, my first understand the application, right? So I'm creating an application, right? It's a banking application. Now my assumption is I'm taking the three columns, right? Account number, then followed by name of the customer, then followed by balance of the customer, right? Then, so I'm taking the accounts as some thousand not 1,000 not 2,000 not 3 and 1,000 not 4. These are all the accounts which are there in this bank. I'm assuming like that. So San, Man, Van, Can, these are all the account names. And I'm taking the balance in their respective accounts. Something 12K, 5,400. There I'm taking something like 1,999 and 12,000 plus 12,000 K, right? These are all the balances which are there in their account. Now, what I am doing, I want to raise the exception where if the account balance is less than 2,000 or less than or equal to 2,000, where I want to raise the exception, right? And I want to handle that exception by using the catch block, right? Based on this condition, what I want to do, if the customer account balance is less than 2,000, I don't want to allow the user to perform the transaction. And I want to raise the exception and I want to throw that exception to the catch block. In catch block, I can provide the alternate message to the customer, like you cannot withdraw the amount, or your account balance is less than 2,000, minimum balance is not available, so maintain the sufficient balance to avoid this kind of messages, alternate messages I want to send to the user based on the exception, right? Now, sir, how we are going to do this? Beta, you can see here, first step is, as I told you, you should take your own class. That class must extend the exception class. All the features of exception will be available to your own class. Now, I'm taking the three different arrays, account number, name, and balance. These three arrays are, I'm taking them as a static arrays, and I'm declaring first two arrays as private and the third one is balance. Public is a balance, right? That in the sense, my intention is in outside of the class also, I want to show the balance to the customer. That is the reason I am taking these balance array as a public. Then rest of two, account and name, they are private. I don't want to expose the details of the customer to outside of the class. That's what I am taking it as a private. Now, this is a parameterized constructor. Whenever you are throwing the exception or whenever you are passing the parameter to the your own class that I want to throw to the super class. That's what I'm taking the parameterized constructor and I'm passing that parameter to the super class, right? It's not mandatory beta. Depends upon your requirement, you can take. Without this also, we can handle it. Now, I'm taking the main method. What I'm going to do, I'm going to display the details uh, customer by customer. First, I'm going to display the first customer account number, name, and balance. Then I'm going to the second one, third one, fourth one. While displaying, what I'm going to do, I'm going to check the customer balance, right? So first account number, right? My idea is to display account number, then name, then balance. So array index starts from 0. So I have 4 records, 0, 1, 2, 3. So total 4 records. First I'm entering into the block 0 less than 4 condition true. I'm I'm writing the code in the try block because whenever the customer account balance is less than 2000, I'm going to raise the exception. If you are not writing the exception code in the try block, the program will be terminated abnormally. So either data loss or transaction loss is going to be occurred. So I don't want to terminate abnormally. That's what I'm doing. I'm writing the exception code within the try block, right? Now, first I am displaying the account number. Account number of I is 0. Account number of 0 is 1001. I displayed. Name of 0, that is Sam. Balance of 0, that is 12,000. I displayed. After that, I am checking the condition. 12,000 less than 2,000. No, the condition is false. False means I won't execute the if block, right? Where I will go? I will go to the I will skip the if block and I will move to the next code, right? 1 minute, I will show you. Right. So the condition is false. That's what we will do. We'll move to the next statement. Sir, what are the next two statements? You can see here, we will go to whenever the condition is true, then only we execute the if block. Condition is false means we don't execute the if block, right? We don't have any exception in the try block. If you don't have any exception in the try block, we won't execute the catch block. Now, what will happen? The for loop gets incremented. Next, I value become 1, right? So I will enter into the try block, account number of 1, name of 1, balance of 1, right? That is 1002 man and 5400 that I am going to display. Next, what happens? We don't have 5400 less than 2000. This is also false. False means I don't have any exception in the try block. I will go to the, I will skip the catch block. Then loop will be repeated. I will go to for loop. Then I value become 2, right? So account number of 2, name of 2, balance of 2. That is 1003. Then van. Then the balance is 1999. Now I will come to the next statement. That is 1999 less than 2000. Yes, condition is true. Now observe carefully. I will clear this 1 minute. Now, whenever this condition is true, 1900 less than 2000, this condition is true. Whenever this condition is true, what I'm doing, I'm executing step 3. That is create object to your own class and whatever the message which you want to throw to the customer, right? Pass that message, pass that string as a parameter, right? Now I'm creating object to my exception. I'm taking the string parameter and I'm passing it, right? So that what will happen? The parameterized constructor gets executed and that string will be passed to the superclass, right? Now what I'm doing, I am throwing that object by using the throw keyword. As we studied, throw keyword is used to throw the custom exception from the try block to the catch block. We will come to the catch block. In catch block, we are creating object to the my exception class, and sir, I want to know the details, me.print start trace, then that object will display that object exceptional details will be displayed by the print start trace, right? Then, sir, it is done. So there is an exception in the try block. We thrown that exception to the catch block. In catch block, the exception related message which we are passed, that I am displayed. Next, what happens? Next, what will happen? Automatically, loop will repeat and it goes to the next record. That is 1004, right? So 1004 account balance is 12,000. Then it will display 1004 can and 12,000, right? 12,000 less than 2,000, that is false. So we don't have any exception in the if block. Then we will skip the we don't have any exception in the try block. We'll skip the catch block, and again loop gets repeated. Then we are done with all the records. Then main method is closed and class is closed. This is how, wherever the exception is there we raise the exception and we will print the exceptional details, right? So I will show you the execution as well. You can see here it will raise the exception and it will display the exceptional details. Now copy your class name. What's your class name? Yeah, our class name is my exception, right? Now compile it and run it. Java space my exception dot Java and Java space my exception. So you can see here we are displaying the first record, we don't have exception. Second record, we don't have exception. Third record, it's not satisfying the condition. That's what we are raising the exception, and we are displaying the exceptional details, right? And we are moving further. This is how raising the custom exception and handling the custom exception depends upon the application requirement. Chalo guys, this is all about the exceptions and the exception handling mechanisms, right? Chalo, thank you.